So let's start by having you introduce yourself, and let's go right into talking about when you first kind of fell in love with, storytelling, narrative development, that kind of stuff.
Sure. I'm Jack Tremblay, and I'm the art director at Direct Design in Burlington, Vermont. And I started my career as just a traditional designer. I really have an affinity for fine art and the visual medium has always been what I've been passionate about. And I also have an interest in things like psychology and symbolism and just culture in general. So the idea of humans communicating in a narrative way with one another, it just always made sense to me. As far as like the most effective way for somebody to get something across is just for one person to talk to another. So the ability to use video and have it be not expensive, not complicated, is just it just seems like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, technology is catching up with that kind of thing. It's we can shoot video and get it up and have it be to the point and effective, and then we can see who cares about it,
Right.
who's paying attention. So that's what I find so compelling about it.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about, like, you and I geek out about Joseph Campbell all the time, right?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So tell me a little bit about like why you feel like the storytelling, like the science of storytelling, is so effective in design and in marketing.
When I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s, and so we have these little snippets of ad gimmicks and funny little things, and so we're combining this consciousness of narrative and personality and resolution into a format that's 30 seconds, and so it's a little snapshot of life. It's not a big sweeping, epic. It's like, here's your subject, here's your person, here's their dilemma, here's their solution. If every ad or every kind of marketing thing presents that, then how do we show it in a different way that it still makes sense to people? So it's just like it's like mini cinema or something like that. It's just the ability to tell this pocket narrative, this little self-contained story, and I really equate it to something like poetry, where you're really using an efficient stack of words to get across a concise point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about direct design. What do you guys focus on? And can you give us like some of the examples that of using storytelling in some of your projects?
So direct design has been around since 1989, and we have been in the industry and seen all kinds of changes, from a traditional graphic design, publishing, advertising model, then through the turn of the millennia, we moved into producing websites and being aware that our audience is not just people anymore. It's now Google as well. And now we have to produce projects for online that not only appeal to people and are easily absorbed and understood, but we have to make them for Google as well. So we've been in and out of this kind of mindset where the task is still the same. We still need one person to talk to this person. I have a service, I have a product I'm offering. How do I get my product out there in a way that people will see? That has not changed since forever. But what changes now is the technology, the platforms, the way you get it out there. So I think that direct design does a good job of recognizing that, we're pop psychologists to a certain degree.
Sure.
We deal with our clients well. We understand who they are and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And we are good at either taking a driving role and leading a project, or falling back and following their lead. So we are complementing who they are. And so because we're able to do that, we retain clients for a long time, because we understand them, we understand their challenges, and we understand what their end product needs to be in order to make them happy.
So, you don't have to be specific with names, but can you talk us through an example of a campaign that you guys have run that's kind of illustrated that?
We got an opportunity with Northwestern Medical Center to try to influence the amount of births that they had in their family birthing center. And it really wasn't just about generating births, but it's about leading women into the further products of the further services of women's health and mammograms. So they have this whole vision of really servicing the women population of Franklin County and making it known. So the idea of getting them in for their births and continuing their relationship over for the other services is how we got in there. How would we help them out? And so our idea was to really focus on the idea that the biggest influence that a new mom is going to have isn't going to come from a top-down message where, the hospital itself is talking about how great they are and how many services they have. It's really going to come through peers.
Right.
And I know this person, I know that person. Oh, that's Cindy's, sister-in-law. And so we have that kind of community. And it's a matter of getting those folks to be on camera in an effective way so that they're recognizable, but they're also telling their positive stories about their encounters at NMC. And so that's the most effective way to get that message out there, is that peer-to-peer influence campaign.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so you partnered with us to help you create the videos, and why don't we talk a little bit about what our strategy was, going in, who we wanted to talk to, why we wanted to talk to individual examples of moms, and then why we actually chose to have Candlin run the interviews.
So it was important to have not the same story over and over and over again, but it was also important that over time we're telling many of these stories. To have like a one video or just one package of video that ran in a certain amount of time, that's not going to remind anybody over time that, this is about the family birthing center. So we have like a brand element, a recognizable element that we need to convey. We want to speak to people over time so they get used to hearing from us or NMC in that way. So the campaign had to have a timeline involved. It wasn't just going to be a small set of videos. We had to keep it going over time. And we supported that video campaign through Facebook, had them go and the Facebook part directed traffic to the website. And then once on the website, people had the ability to either see what other services are available. They would finish the narrative, the more filled out story about the subject on the website, or they could just take action in some other way. But we've now gotten them from one platform to the other, and it's been a seamless jump as far as how we got there. Okay,
can you talk to me a little bit about some of the results we've seen from it? I know you probably don't have all the analytics that I have.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit about what we saw in terms of results and what the end result ended up looking like.
Well, we had a goal to generate leads. People who are generally interested, not generally, genuinely interested in talking with us, NMC,
Right.
about more services. So we were asking them permission. We were offering a download piece, and we sort of had two tracks, two personality types that we knew about. We knew that there were going to be new moms who knew nothing about, what's going on, and then we had experienced moms who knew a lot and wanted to have some control over, what this was. And so we have these two segments that, sure, they're both pregnant moms, but we have to pay attention to what they know and how do we nurture them. So we had two content tracks for each, and we were able to really get a lot of leads through Facebook advertising, lots of different schemes, experiments, target groups. The amount of time that our first set of videos was on allowed us for a lot of experimentation about, how do we hone this? How do we refine this? Who looks better than this? And now we're able to work on that foundation with a whole new set of videos now, and we're going to, get even better results.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about kind of the content stack that White & Joyal delivers, and my question for you is like, why do direct design clients have a interest in being able to get modular video like we produce?
One of the things about having a marketing agency or a design agency is, with the advent of the capabilities of what you can do digitally, you have all these tools now available, all these platforms, and they are all promising you that they're free, that they are the only one you need, and engaging with any one of them is really a wormhole that you can disappear into and completely miss the point. So what a relationship with White & Joyal allows us to do is keep my business flat. I'm able to keep a small business, but I'm able to keep up with all these new tools and mechanisms that happen, and I'm allowed to partner with people who they know what they're doing, and I can just kind of click them in or unclick them based on my project. I can match my my client's needs with my team's needs, and it's really just easy to work with you guys because we just kind of have an understanding at a certain level. Now, I think that what I personally lack and what my agency lacks is a lot of the technical funnel aspect of what you guys are able to provide seamlessly with the video and the analytics part, the reading of that.
So let's kind of key in on that a little bit more, because that's something that both of us have had a lot of interest in, is like, how do we combine storytelling and data?
Yeah.
And how do we really produce, stories that are driving action?
Yeah. You can't just pay attention to people and ignore Google. Google is the elephant in the room. And if you're not paying attention and putting things together in a way that Google understands through artificial intelligence, you're not being seen by as wide of an audience as you could be. So the idea of fixing the visual narrative, the heartstrings, the emotive narrative, which is gold to anybody on video. If it's not being seen by Google and understood contextually, then it's not having its full potential reached. And so the idea of teaming up the narrative video gold part with the technology aspect of it in one grouping from one place is certainly a benefit. And I know that you reached out to me, or I reached out to you on LinkedIn first.
I think I reached out to you.
And I said, hey, how's it going? And we just started this conversation, and then we started to understand, what we really geeked out about.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of thing where it's like, this is the part that animates us, that makes us excited. It's the storytelling, it's the person to person, it's the, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I've never seen that before. But I know that I need to marry it with this digital aspect because I need to make Google happy as well.
Right.
And just the idea that you guys have that all together, I had agreed. I said, you guys are going to be way ahead of the game because you marry those things together right out of the box. It's like you're not really partnering with somebody. You already understand, this is how this has to go in order to be effective. And that was like, yes, that's totally, I agree with that vision entirely.
Well, so let's talk about inbound marketing. And let's talk about kind of how video fits into inbound marketing, because that is one of one of our value propositions.
Yeah. Sort of tell you my understanding of inbound versus outbound?
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So my agency does traditional work and we do digital work. We do whatever our clients need us to do to get them out there. And so we really bridge these two worlds. And I find that a lot of the clients that we deal with, they have a traditional understanding of what marketing was, and that would be, quote unquote, the outbound approach or the interruption approach,
Right.
where somebody is tuning in for some other reason, if it's a radio program or if it's a magazine or a TV show, and you're essentially interrupting them with your message. That's the traditional aspect, and because of the media, you have to sort of flatten and broaden out what you can say. Because you have so much real estate you're dealing with, and you need to make sure everything gets plugged in there clearly. With inbound, you're really dealing with somebody's personal time and personal interest. So it's not about interrupting, it's about being found. It's leveraging search. People are searching on Google already for the things that they're interested in. If they happen to search for something that you may have a relation to, what's going to make you one of the results? And so you have to be conscious of what Google is looking for, as well as what the person who might buy your product or service is looking for. And video is just a great format to get people that understanding quickly. They don't have to read extensively. They don't have to, if you can offer somebody a quick little video of summary, they're going to know very quickly if they have they arrived at the right place or not. They're going to know it very quickly, much quicker than even reading, because reading requires extra mental effort to understand. So video is, like I said, it's just a no-brainer for the way the mind works and takes in information. It's effortless. Click play, listen, 10, 20 seconds. I know that I'm in the right place. I know I'm in the completely wrong place, and then I'm moving on because I've got other stuff to do. And that's the whole online world these days. So nothing does that like video.